This is On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. A weekly recap of your Philadelphia Flyers from blue line to blue line. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Han & Stone Spa, Pat Dion Beverages, The Capitol Grill, Chickies and Pete's, Payroll Service Solutions, and Independence Blue Cross. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Now, here are your hosts, former Flyers goaltending great Bernie Parent and Paul Jolovitz.
And welcome, everybody, to On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. We're here at the beautiful Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown, New Jersey. It is hopping. A lot of people here, a lot of food, a lot of TVs, a lot of atmosphere, which is a good thing. This is our show. My co-host tonight, Mr. Bernard Marcel Prant. You might have heard of him. Used to play, what was it, right wing for the Flyers?
No, it was a football player.
Football player, I'm sorry. He was a quarterback.
Quarterback, yeah.
If you don't know who Bernie Parent is, what are you listening to this show for? I hate to say that, or watching it for. We have a guest who's maybe not quite as well known as Bernie, but if you know hockey, you know this man. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever been around. The highest compliment I can pay a human being is you're great at whatever you do, but you're a better person, and that's this guy. He was an enforcer with the Flyers for a few years. He's a very interesting man right now. He's into psychedelics, all kinds of stuff, real estate. He is the man about town. His name
Excuse me. Yeah. What's his name? You keep talking and talking. What's his name?
Barack Obama? No, Riley Cote. How are you, Riley?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Riley's in our business, everybody. Bernie, Riley has a former Flyers equipment manager, Derek Settlemeyer. You know Derek and Saji Settlemeyer. Obviously, you and Derek became friends here, and you and Derek do a podcast Wednesdays and Thursdays. Before we get to anything else, whatever you want to say about the podcast, called Nasty Knuckles. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Great
we
stuff.
just try to have some fun, just to humanize the players, current and former players, mostly Flyers. We've expanded outside the Flyers territory, but just trying to have some fun, get some laughs, stories, and not take it too serious, and don't talk a whole lot of X and O's. Just have fun with it.
That's what we do here, Bernie.
Yeah.
I tried a business too one time about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I said I'm going to sell Paul's picture or frame.
How'd you do with that?
And
not easy.
I still haven't sold one yet.
Yeah.
No one wants it.
It is all in fun. But
God.
it wasn't fun last night, guys. I mean, our hockey team, the team that we love so much, lost to an 0-10-1 Sharks team.
Yeah.
Could have been the worst start in NHL history, but Mackenzie Blackwood, their goaltender, was unbelievable. Bernie, when you play goal, there's always these kinds of players. Boston Scott's an Eagle running back who scored 10 touchdowns in 9 games against the Giants and hasn't scored 10 against the rest of the league combined. This goalie last night stopped 39 shots, beat the Flyers single-handedly. You were obviously great against everybody, which is why you're in the Hall of Fame. But why are goalies or whatever sometimes great against one team and not against anybody else? Is it a confidence thing?
Oh, yeah, of course. When it's how you prepare yourself, and who you're going to play against, the players, left wing, the right wings, what they do in different situations, and you have to learn, how they maneuver in front of your defenseman.
But no matter who's wearing the orange and black, he's beaten the Flyers 8 times with the Devils, with the Sharks. Can't beat any other team in hockey. Flyers, he looks like you.
Well, you know what? He, I don't know. I think I'm better looking now. But you know what? You have some teams that you prepare yourself and everything works out. But it's all comes, confidence. You know what? I always said when you play as a young kid, you learn one thing. If you want to win, you have to play as a team, And the confidence that you saw in that goalie yesterday, although you had 30-some shots or whatever, you still have to go in with the confidence of your defenseman and forward. They're going to do in different situation. You know how they're going to react. And it's going to help you to be in the right position at the right time.
Well, it was for the Sharks last night. When I was watching the game, I was actually playing poker at Parks Casino, and asked for the hockey game to be turned on, which it was.
Excuse me a second.
Yeah.
You lost the game. Did you lose money?
Nope, I actually won a lot of money last
Oh,
night.
okay, good.
Not what you consider a lot of money, but what I consider a lot of money. I'm watching Riley, and there's not a lot of fighting in the NHL anymore. As we know, Riley was primarily an enforcer during his 8 years with the Flyers. And right after the start, somebody ran somebody, and Nick Delorier, the Flyers' tough guy, got right into what I said. Riley's my guest tomorrow. Gotta love this. Did you see it at all? And if you had, what's the role of the enforcer in hockey these days?
Yeah, well, I didn't watch the game live, but I did watch a few of the highlights this morning. I did watch it. He did obviously well, wins the fight. Obviously, the role is diminished tremendously. Nick and probably 3 or 4 others that are considered maybe legitimate heavyweights around the league left. Minimal fighting, under 10 fighting majors a year per guy. I still believe there's a role in the game for this, but it's the game's so fast and skilled now. I mean, you gotta play the game and get legitimate minutes. Look at Ryan Reeves in Toronto. I think he's like -8, and it's not looking good as far as like playing the game. But he's arguably the toughest guy in the league. So there's still a place for these guys, but I don't see it ever going back. Certainly not going back to the Broad Street Bullies, and even in my era. Certainly not going to go back that way, but I still believe that there's a role for it.
All right, Bernie, I'm going to swear Riley in. You promise to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
100%.
When's the last time? It always makes me curious about you or any NHL enforcer who people watch on TV, beating the you-know-what out of people. Now you're in a bar or a restaurant and somebody says, I'm a tough guy, there's so-and-so. When's the last time somebody challenged you, if it's ever happened, and how do you handle that kind of situation?
It hasn't happened in a long time. I think when I first retired in 2010, I played in a men's league tournament, and I had this young buck wanted to fight, but it was quickly diffused. Haven't had any problems
That's
since.
in a hockey game.
That was in a hockey game in a bar? No, never. Honestly, I don't put myself in situations for that to happen. If it did, I would have nothing to do with it. Honestly, I don't get paid for it anymore. So.
Broad Street Bullies wasn't really about the goaltender, Mr. Perrant. That's about the Hall of Fame. But you got into a fight or two in your career, didn't you?
Yep. And to get back to your question you asked earlier about if you're in the bar or someplace, you have a fight or whatever. The one time that guy approached me, was big dude, and he was going to kick and I looked at him, he looked at me, and I said, my good friend is Paul.
Me, that's right.
And you're
And
scary.
you know what? He said, are you kidding me? He turned around and walked away.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, well,
Tail between the legs. He's
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Can't challenge everybody.
Just drop Paul's name. You're good.
Thought I had a good right hand, but I wasn't able to use it or not, anything like that. By the way, is Brian Propp, saw something on Facebook the other day, your beautiful wife Jeannie was posting, Brian Propp opening up a wellness center you're speaking at. What was that all about?
I'm not sure. So if you want to get the answer, ask Jeannie. I'm not sure.
All right, we'll ask Jeannie after the show. Riley, you
Yep.
you got a couple kids. You got a beautiful girlfriend here. What's her name and what's going on? She's a pretty impressive lady.
Yeah, her name's Jessica Tracy, and she's a boss. She's got it figured out, and doing some incredible work in the mental health and the spiritual health space. So.
Well, you're into the mental health and spiritual health space, and people say, well, what does that mean? That's why we have you here. We're going to find out what that means. Spiritual health can be one of a jillion things. Obviously, mental health is a huge topic with Lane Johnson, the Eagles, with a lot of people in society. It's been ignored for a long time. You're into psychedelics. You're into wellness. What does that mean? What does that mean, Riley? What do you do?
Well, I mean, it's simple and also complex, but it's all these things, right? When we talk about physical health, we can't just ignore the rest. It's all encompassed. It's the whole body. So it's physical health, it's mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. And if you want to be well, you have to address all these different buckets. But they're kind of all intertwined as well. So, the spiritual thing isn't necessarily religion. It's just connecting to something bigger than yourself and really tapping into the emotional body, feeling like we were kind of brought up in an era where like feeling like we wouldn't talk about emotions. It was just bottle everything up, and it's not healthy. You see this with young athletes, a lot of pressure, a lot of just a lot of stress, and they bottle everything up. And It doesn't turn out very well for a lot of these guys because they don't understand how to express their emotions.
So you do it through different means. Psychedelics is exactly what?
Well, psychedelics is just is a tool to help us as humans navigate this crazy world we're living in. It shifts perspective. It helps you make sense of some of your traumas and some of the things you're holding on to. A lot of the spiritual path is letting go, like letting go of things you can't control, things that happened in the past, and just having some sort of acceptance in it and making peace with it. So a lot of times we carry around so much baggage with us, and it's not us, and unfortunately it affects our mental health and our relationships. So but then there's yoga. I teach yoga and practice yoga, so it's a physical expression of not just emotion, but it's moving energy out, it's breathing, it's meditating, and these are all tools that we can do without plants and mushrooms, but these can help be catalysts to help us get us on the yoga mat, get us on the meditation cushion, and so
Aaron
on.
Rodgers, one of those.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that?
Exactly.
Bernie, we joke a lot, but this is a serious question. You played for a long time. You had bad nights, obviously. I don't know if it was John Tortorella or some other coach said goalies can lose, or wasn't talking about just hockey, anybody. You can lose more than one game in one night. You can lose a game and then have your confidence shattered and think about it going into the next game, and you can see where the dominoes go there. How did you forget about it? Like Riley talks about mental health. How did you put it out of your mind and get ready for the next one?
Oh, it's easy. I blame my defenseman.
Yeah, right. Dust your hands off. Strong game.
And then I'm fine.
Joe Watson. That's right.
Yeah, no. You know what? You go back. We all had bad games. It didn't work out. Okay, and you go back that night. What I used to do, I learned from my idol Jacques Plante, who played for Montreal and won many Stanley Cups. And when I went to Toronto, as a matter of fact, got traded to Toronto, I didn't realize that I was going to spend 2 years with him. And he was 20 years older than me. I watched him play. I watched him practice. I said, Jacques, can you teach me? He said, sure. And that became a different goalie, So,
what did he teach you about the mind, though? Goalie is about physical.
Well,
what about the mental part?
He told me, he said, one of these days, a few years down the road, you're going to meet this guy by the name of Paul. He said,
the savior.
Yeah, the savior. Yeah.
Whipping boy right here tonight. Yeah.
No, but he, you know what? I learned so much how to read my defensemen. Okay, not them reading me, how I can read them, because players do different things in front of them. And I remember with Joe was awesome with this, Joe Watson. He would always play the man, never played the puck. Okay, so I knew that one player was coming down was a left-hand shooter. 9 out of 10 times he'd be shooting by a blocker, because this side was blocked because Joe was standing in front of him.
Right.
And then if it was a right-hand shot, then the guy would shoot on my left side. Those are things that I learned from him.
Yeah.
And I work with a defenseman, so that helps you not just to make the saves, but it helps you to understand the situation and put you in the right place at the right time to make the save.
Yeah.
Well, let me talk about a situation that I came upon once. I wasn't working with defensemen. I was working with a remote control for my television, and this has happened to everybody. I'm sure it's happened to both you guys, Chris Ermer, our producer, and everybody else listening and watching right now. You're watching TV, you're watching some show that means nothing to you, and all of a sudden somebody you know appears, and you perk up all of a sudden. I'm watching a documentary about psychedelics, just channel surfing last year, watching some documentary, thinking whatever, brains, whatever, and all of a sudden Mr. Riley Cote comes on and becomes an integral part of this documentary. I was fascinated. I called you right afterwards. I remember that. What was that? Tell us about that, and what was the documentary, and you rolling it, and what was it like to do that?
Yeah, so it was an ESPN E60 documentary. It's called Peace of Mind, and we filmed it in Jamaica, because the work we do down there is legal and unregulated, as opposed to here, it's still Schedule 1. So we're down there with...
What's Schedule 1?
Schedule 1, meaning it has no medical value, and it's highly addictive. So all these drugs that are legal are scheduled as Schedule 1 substances. And then we had 5 or 6 other athletes come down there. One of my former teammates, Steve Downey, former first pick of the Flyers, dealing with concussion-related stuff, substance abuse-related issues. But the work down there is, and ESPN captured it. It was
great
healing in community, but just working through your own shit. Really is what it is, right? He's owning your own stuff, making sense of it, making peace with it, and then expressing it, crying it out, like letting it go.
It was pretty. I mean, this documentary wasn't no daisy. People were very real in the documentary.
It was very real, yeah, because it was real life situations.
How's Steve doing now?
Steve's doing great. He's opened up a snowmobiling camp up in northern Ontario, and he's living his best life now. He didn't have a purpose, and I think that's what it helped him find was a new purpose.
That's what they do in Canada. We go to whatever camp. They have snowmobiling camp in Canada, but when in Rome, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, he's doing well with it. So.
All right.
Yeah, but finding purpose. A lot of. I mean, Bernie, like when guys retire, they struggle with finding who they are post hockey career. And their whole identity has been embedded in the job that they've been doing. Especially if you're bigger than life and the Broad Street Bullies and winning Stanley Cups. Your identity is embedded in it. So a lot of guys struggle with who they are on the back end of their careers. So you have to kind of recreate yourself and find yourself in the sense of like, how can I be of service in this world now? And I think this is what it helps do, is shift perspective on how we can be a better person and be of service.
This is called a segue. We'll go from a bridge from one segment to the next. Riley talks about how can you find that sense of purpose. Well, he retired when he was 28 years old and forced in the NHL. Riley's 41 now and making a huge mark in today's world. How did he get from point A to point B? We will examine that when On the Ice continues, presented by Independence Blue Cross. We're here at the Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown. People having a great time. Mr. Prant, maybe not such a great time because I'm here, but that's all right. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's, and we are prouder than ever to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chickie and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
I'm always striving to live my healthiest life, so I need a health plan that has my back. With Independence Blue Cross, I get access to the largest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free virtual doctor visits 24/7. Plus, with premiums as low as $0 per month, I can stay on top of my health and keep my budget in check. Independence has given me coverage I can count on, and they'll do the same for you. Explore your coverage options and enroll today at ibx.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one-stop shop for all your shopping needs at Fairless Hills.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer goaltending great Bernie Perrant.
And welcome back, everybody. You're listening to On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross, live from Chickies and Pete's here in Bordentown, right here on 1490 WBCB. It is now time for the Independence Blue Cross Live Fearless Player of the Week. Each week we award a Flyer with this honor. They're 1-3 this week, not a great week, but then you take a look at Scotty Lawton, not a minus in any game. Scotty, consistent, two-way player, just keeps rocking and rolling. We're going to have him later this year. He is a terrific player, and he's our Player of the Week. Scotty Lawton, thank you so much for all you do. Remember to choose Independence Blue Cross today and begin to live fearless. We're here with Mr. Perrant, Mr. Riley Cote, who retired at the ripe old age of 28 and has gone into many other walks of life now. Why'd you have to retire at 28? I mean, the knuckles only have so much skin on them, I guess. And tell everybody what we haven't talked about so far, where you've branched your life into and how hard that was.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to. I made the decision to. I had another year on my contract, actually, with the Flyers. So the mental health was deteriorating. You know, my brain wasn't getting any better from getting punched in the head. So I had to make an honest decision in life on where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be, and how I wanted to feel. And I think that was the spine of my decision to retire. So I did that, and I got into coaching. But I also, more importantly, got a chance to reel in the mental health and really kind of get into this world that I'm into now, which is a series of different things under the umbrella of mindfulness, right?
You were a coach, though, with the Phantoms?
I was, yeah, for 7 years, actually. I was up in Adirondack for 4 and then in Lehigh for 3. What I enjoyed about it actually the most was, the X's and O's was, was secondary to just like the relationships you build with the players and kind of being that buffer zone from the head coach and how the guys cherish that relationship and the communications. And I felt like I was almost like a therapist almost for these guys, because it's just a lot of listening, right? You're just listening to these guys unload on what they're dealing with and their personal lives, but also obviously the hockey situation. So I knew I always wanted to be in helping people. I just thought that maybe it was limited when you're a coaching hockey team. You got a 23-man roster, and there's only so much you can do in a hockey locker room as far as helping guys out off the ice,
Well, that's the mental side. Bernie's the other side. Bernie was in his 30s, got an eye injury in New York, had to retire, probably weren't ready to retire, still had something left to give, but couldn't do it anymore. What did you do when you retired, and how hard was it to have it cut off, boom, like that?
What's your next question?
Not sure yet. As you answered, I'll formulate that. That's what people like me do.
Yeah.
Next.
Well, you know what? It was very difficult because my mind was constantly on the game.
Yeah.
And my lifestyle, and I was accustomed to, and then, boom, just like that, And I think when I look back, a reason it turned out good was when I look back, I'm very grateful that I was associated with good people.
Yeah.
And it's how life is just like in sports. It's a team game. Mm-hmm. You can't live your life, have fun, enjoy yourself, eat well, and whatever you do, different things by yourself all the time.
No.
You have to be part of a team. It's
Yep.
the same thing as sports.
Mm-hmm.
You learn this in sports, and it was a beautiful thing. It was that was it a setback? Of course, it was a setback, because I had played all those years.
Your whole life.
But my whole life, and just a moment that I was fortunate to be surrounded by good people and move in the right direction.
All right, Riley was an enforcer on the ice, primarily. Also could play a little bit. You don't get to the NHL just fighting. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't play in the NHL and Riley did. But people like you, Riley, I always tell people this, and I don't think you're going to tell me I'm wrong. This is a theory, not a fact, but obviously in life, you can't be angry all the time. I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do, unless you're some kind of serial killer. How is it that the goons, the enforcers of the NHL, are not always, but almost always the nicest guys in the world? Stu Grimson, fearsome. He's a lawyer now, couldn't be nicer. I mean, Paul Holmgren, 1 million enforcers, a great player, unbelievably nice guy. You, why is it that the enforcers are nice guys? Is it because you can't be angry all the time? Is there something else that I'm missing?
Well, interestingly enough, I never fought angry, so it was just a job. I just gotta go out and just go out and combat. And I think there's an honor in combat and fighting. You look at some of these martial artists and the honor in it. Not that I was a martial artist when I played, but I understood that element of it. Respecting the opponent and not fighting angry. There's a few times I can remember where I was emotionally charged based on a certain situation. But
or you got punched in the face.
And then that would but I'm not even sure that it induces anger. It's just adrenaline, and and you're basically on your own, and it's like either him or me, and you just gotta give it all you have. But I don't really ever remember being that angry ever in fighting. So that being said, I think it's just the perspective of the fighter of the fight, and kind of again bringing up the martial artists like the UFC fighters and the martial artists of the world. There's a respect there for the art, for the craft, and for the opponent, and then they're bowing. There's an honor in it. So I think outside the cage and outside the ring and off the ice, it's like, well, we're just normal human beings just doing our job, and I think that's probably what you're seeing off the ice.
Well, that brings up something that happened 2 weeks ago, Bernie. We talked about it last week. Nobody likes this. It was terrible for everybody. I don't care if you're a rival of this guy. You don't want to see him die. And Adam Johnson, unfortunately, a winger in the English Hockey League, bled out after he cut his jugular vein. I was talking to Mark Howe on the phone last week, scheduling for this show next week, and I certainly don't want to speak for Mark Howe. So Mark will be here next week to say whatever his piece is on it, and that's the way it should be. But Riley, there was a kicking motion. I don't know if you saw this, but Adam Johnson died when he was crossing the ice, and somebody wanted to impede him, decided not to do it with his arm or whatever, kind of raised his foot and kicked him in the jugular, obviously unintentionally. But did that break the honor among thieves? Obviously, he didn't want to kill him, but where does that stand in your mind? Whatever you have to say, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? It's I watched the clip a ton because I wanted to really dissect it to give an honest opinion of what I saw, and it's hard to watch, obviously. And my heart goes out to Adam and his family and everyone. It's just tragic. But what I saw was not a hockey play. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a skate come up like that in a situation like that. I've seen skates come up, hitting along the boards, maybe a hip check.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. It wasn't a hockey play. It wasn't murder either, but where does it fall in between those two? There's no intent.
Well, there's no intent. You didn't wake up that morning and say, I'm going to kill this guy. But like, there's also a level of accountability and having ownership of the way you maneuver on the ice. That's part of it, right? You have a stick in your hand, you got a big body, and you got some blades on, and you got to keep it in check to some degree. I'm not sure how a blade, I slowed it down, and thought maybe he got clipped by the one player in front of him, and maybe helicoptered him, spun him out. I didn't see that, so I'm not sure how that front left leg could come up that high unless you're just like being absolutely reckless. And unfortunately, obviously, the end result is devastating. But
so you're the commissioner of that league. I don't even know what the guy's name is. I mean, should Bundy came down hard on him? Other people have. Do you do anything to him? Obviously, he feels terrible. That I don't care who he is. He has to. What happens to him, if anything, in your mind? If you're the commissioner.
Yeah, well, obviously they have to talk to the rest of the board and come to an agreement on what they all see, I I'd like to think you got to suspend this guy, probably kick him out of the league. I mean, suspend the guy maybe forever. I mean, from understanding his past and maybe his previous altercations that season, he's been, emotional, maybe you could say, or a little bit of a loose cannon. Not saying that a lot of penalty minutes makes you a bad person, but like.
There's a line you can't cross.
There's a line you can't cross. Like that's the whole game, is playing that role and not crossing that line. And to me, that wasn't a hockey play. Unfortunate, incredibly unfortunate outcome. But I think you have to make a stand and make it bold and clear as day. Like this type of reckless behavior. No matter what the end result is not going to be tolerated, and then there's the whole conversation around the way the law enforcement is going to deal with it, because they're investigating it. That's a whole other issue itself. But I mean, you got to be responsible for your body. I was a reckless guy, but there's certainly things I wouldn't do, knowing that I could potentially really hurt somebody out there.
It comes up now and again when somebody gets seriously hurt or killed, unfortunately, about how reckless it is. Does it have a criminal element? Do we have to wear helmets or face shields? Or Mark Howe was impaled by the goal, changed the way the goal posted. It's an unfortunate situation. I think everybody would agree with that. Another unfortunate situation, Bernie, we'll talk about this after we take a break, is the Flyer power play. That's hockey related, not life related, but it's not going very well right now. Flyers power play stinks. We're going to find out why Morgan Frost isn't playing. We're going to find out why, get a little bit into the Flyers season. 0-6-1 when they score first. We'll talk about that when we get back. The Independence Blue Cross on the ice from here at Chickens and Pete's in Bordentown, New Jersey with Riley Cote and Bernie Perrant. Come join us when we come back right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, and we are prouder than ever to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chicky and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com. Chickies.com.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one-stop shop for all your shopping needs at Fairless Hills.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer goaltending great Bernie Perrant.
And welcome back, everybody, to Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown. Next week, we're on Roosevelt Boulevard in the Great Northeast. Our guest is Mark Howe. It's time now for the Smart Stat of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. Flyers 0-6-1 when opponents score first this season. Scoring early is a big key for the Black and Orange. They didn't do that last night. Thus, the San Jose Sharks won their first game of the season. That was your Smart Stat of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, catering to small, medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again at 1-866-PAY-EASY. We were talking about equipment, the death of Adam Johnson a couple weeks ago, whether you wear neck guards or not, or different pieces of equipment. I know you had something to say, Mr. Perrant. Time's yours.
Yeah, I found out that Gary Bettman, you know, the commissioner,
yep,
is working on getting a piece to cover the neck. Because think about this. I was thinking, earlier about the whole body's protected from your feet all the way to your head with the helmet and the whole bit.
Goalies
right?
didn't even wear masks when you were a kid, right?
Yeah. Do I look that bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. and you have gloves, you have helmets, you have shoulder pads. The whole thing is covered except here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame that it took an accident like this that to really move on and come up with a design protector for your.
Well, let me say this. I don't know if you guys follow baseball,
yeah,
but Steve Yeager was a catcher for the Dodgers about 40 years ago. Somebody was at the plate. He was in the on-deck circle, minding his own business. Somebody's bat shattered, came back, hit him in the neck, almost killed him.
Wow.
And that's where the whatever you want to call it, the neck drop for the catcher came in.
All right.
Unfortunately, guys, it takes incidents like this, Bernie with a goalie mask for you, and Bill Masterson passed away, and the masks and the neck guard. Where do we start infringing upon somebody's, not their privacy, but their ability to play the game at a high level? Do you draw that line, Riley? If you do, where? If you don't? This is a problem with the Players Association. It's obviously some players are going to be for and some against, but you only got one life. How do you weigh everything?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure I know the answer to it. Players are always going to have their opinions on what feels comfortable, what feels right for their own functionality and their own performance. I'm going to assume that when they roll this thing out, it's not going to be mandated out of the league, but they might phase it in like they did with the visors. Originally the guys never no helmets, and then they had helmets.
Brad didn't wear a helmet.
Grandfather them in, and then they grandfather the visors in. So it might be something like that, a phased-in approach. So the new guys coming in have to wear them. So you just get used to them. But it's going to be hard to tell a 20-year-old vet to throw a neck guard on. Even after all this stuff that happens, it's just a comfort thing. It just doesn't feel right or whatever it is. But it's certainly smart to do. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to die to recognize the danger and the vulnerability of the neck being exposed.
Bernie, if I said to you, you can wear whatever equipment you want to play your best in goal in the NHL, and match that with feeling safe as a human being on the ice, is there anything you would have taken off and not worn?
No, that's my answer. I just
that's a good answer.
Yeah, but I played as a kid, without the mask, and look at this face, No, but And when I went to Niagara Falls, that's when I started wearing a mask, and I wore a mask all those years. And I got hit a few times. Look at the way I talk, and no, but I mean, kidding aside.
What'd you say?
But I got hit a few times, with the mask on. And I remember, I have to share this story with you, I probably did before. Bobby Hull, right, was struck at 115 miles an hour. Okay, nobody has come close to it. Maybe 105, 104, 105. And I remember when he come down, right, across the blue line, big shoulders, curved blade, between the blue line and the circle. He looked at me, I looked at him, big smile on his face, and I said, Lord, Lord, you know what? You're on my side. Let him score.
Well,
115 miles an hour.
Oh my God!
He did plenty of that.
I saw him quickly. I saw him one time in Chicago, as a matter of fact. He missed the net, right? Hit the glass behind the net, and went all the way around. And Glenn Howell had to make the save.
Come on, Rob.
So imagine that.
Yeah. So that's a lot of speed.
Yeah.
Well, Bobby Hull was not a member of the Flyers power play circa 2023. Obviously, you're going to be a better hockey team if you play well in the power play extra minute situations. Flyers penalty kill has been fine. We know they're rebuilding, and it's about finding players this year, and there's games in which the Flyers play very well. There's games in which they suck, to be blunt about it. But the power play, Riley, overall, has not been very good. You were a coach for 7 years. The Flyers have some pretty good players. Morgan Frost, of course, getting scratched most nights has something to do with that, but not everything. What's wrong with the Flyers power play?
Well, I think it just comes hand in hand with their ability to score goals. I think getting Coots back and Atkinson back obviously helps with point production, but I just don't think they have that much firepower. That being said, I haven't watched every game, so I can't sit here and say that I could pick apart the power play, but generally when it's not going well, it's getting back to basics and it's just moving around the horn and getting pucks to the net with traffic. There's nothing fancy about a power play that's not working properly, right? You're just trying to get shots to the net with traffic and an extra body there for a rebound, shooting for spray. So Morgan Frost hasn't produced. I mean, I think he had an all right camp. Unfortunately, he's the whipping boy right now.
Yep.
He's the easy guy to pull out. He's shifty. He's got some skills, but it's just sometimes you just see him and just not.
Tortorella says it's what you do away from the puck.
What you do away from the puck.
With the
right?
puck.
Yeah. So
Bernie, the Broad Street Bullies are obviously known for a lot of things. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what your power play stats were. You obviously had great players at all positions. Did you have a great power play when you played?
Don't ask me. I was a goalie.
Well,
what do you mean? Yeah.
A lot of the guys raised their hand.
No, but you know what? It all comes back to what I said earlier. It's all about teamwork. Okay.
Power play is really about teamwork.
About teamwork.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how the players would position themselves, how you anticipate the movement of your players versus the movement of their players. How you're going to make a good pass, a good move. So.
Well, let's see the other teams on the power play. How tough was it for you in the net with 4 guys instead of 5?
Well, you know what? First of all, it was you had the 2 defensemen and you have 2 forwards. So you look at the like a box in front of a goal, right? And the decision was always make sure the player is not in position in that box to take a good shot, because it's very difficult to make the save. So once you work as a team like this and you understand the play and you understand what's going on, it helps you to be at the right place at the right time.
Well, I'm sure Freddie Shearer emphasized that. The Broad Street Bullies were in the box a lot, and you had a great coach. I mean, a great penalty kill can really save a team, guys.
Well, one more thing too. I remember in the dressing room between periods, or before the game for that matter, but mostly between periods, the players, would communicate. And I would say, well, Joe, what are you doing in that situation? So I'll understand what you're doing. So once you understand what the players are going to do in different situation, it helps you to anticipate and be at the right place at the right time.
which is what hockey's all about.
That's right.
Talk about something else hockey's all about. Mr. Perrant won a couple of things called the receiver for the Los Angeles Rams, one of the best receivers in the NFL, named Cooper Kupp. His brother Stanley is a friend of mine. Stanley played some hockey. You won him a couple times, right? Mm-hmm. Stanley Cup. That joke went nowhere. Sorry about that. I just thought about it on the spur of the moment. It failed. It fell flat. But Riley Cote won a Calder Cup, not a Stanley Cup. But we'll talk about winning and what sports is all about winning. Bernie won a couple parades. Riley had a great Calder Cup. We'll talk about what it's like to be a champion and win the ultimate prize and much more Flyer stuff. They're in Anaheim on this West Coast trip. They come back the 18th. They play Anaheim and the Kings back-to-back Friday and Saturday. Looking to bounce back off that awful effort last night. Final segment of On the Ice presented by Independence Blue Cross follows this. Please stay with us.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, and we are prouder than ever to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chicky and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies Pete's.
At Independence Blue Cross, we believe in giving you the tools you need to pursue your healthiest life. From premiums as low as $0 per month to health discounts and cash rewards, it pays to have coverage with Independence. With the strongest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free 24/7 virtual doctor visits, you can feel confident that quality care is always within reach. Learn more about your coverage options at ibx.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one-stop shop for all your shopping needs at Fairless Hills.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We
now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer goaltending great Bernie Perrant.
We were going to have Queen with us tonight. Brian May, the guitarist, Adam Lambert, the new frontman, Freddie Mercury obviously passed away. We were going to have them sing We Are the Champions because we're with two champions tonight, Bernie Perrant and Riley Cote. You remember Bernie's 74 and 75 Lord Stanley's Cup, approaching 50 years, and Flyers having a 50-year weekend in January. We'll provide you with many details about that.
There you go. This will be next year 50 years.
This will be 25. I got married and never mind.
I'm not touching that one.
Riley, you got a ring. You won in 2005. You won the Calder Cup, which is the American Hockey League's championship. Championship's a championship. What was that like? And more importantly, where's your ring?
Well, the ring's at home. I don't wear it. It's just it's kind of just part of the memorabilia.
Okay.
But amazing experience. My first year in Philly, lockout year 04-05. So arguably one of the best league in the world.
Richards and Carter, both on the
Carter.
team.
So they came in the playoffs, but a lot of guys that hadn't played in the NHL yet. I think maybe Patrick Sharp and maybe Yoni Pitkinen were the only two that had played up, and Todd Fedoruk. A lot of guys that were kind of up and coming, but Bernie, when you talk about the team, it's probably arguably the best team as far as chemistry goes that I've ever been on, and I think that is really what it comes to mind when you talk about a championship team. Is just like the energy, the belief in the group, and the energy that supported it, and it was an amazing experience. And then my last year playing was in 2010 when we lost to the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup final, which I thought we had the same thing going on. We had some good chemistry going on. We made the playoffs in the last game of the season against the Rangers, and Bush made that save in a shootout. But nonetheless, it was the energy, the championship energy. It's just something that's undeniable, and I had an opportunity to experience that.
Bernie, you always talk about team, and team is obviously important. We've all seen teams of individuals in every sport where this team's more talented than that team, but they can't win a championship. Obviously, it's full of that part of a GM, a coach's role. Danny Briere, Keith Jones with the Flyers, put the guys together who fit, not just talent. How hard is that to do? You guys fit. You had great players, but you also fit. You had some great players that didn't fit. How hard is it to quote-unquote fit?
Well, number one is very, very important, is you have to find a leader in the group.
You guys had a great leader, important. That's for sure.
And then we had Clark, and it's very, very important. And then you build your team around this, and communication is very important. Talking about if you could have the best players on the ice, but if you have no communication, you're not working as a team.
That's right.
And I share quickly here. I shared this with a lot of people. In life in general, I might have said that earlier before. In life in general, if you want to succeed in life, you can't do it on your own.
No, you can't.
You have to be part of a team.
Yep.
All right, so Riley, 2004, 2005 Flyers, Calder Cup, the movie, who plays Clarkie? Who was Clarkie? Who was your leader?
Geez, that's a good question. I'm not sure we had a Clarkie. That's a pretty.
Well, not a lot of those out there, but you need some leadership.
We had. I think what I recognized on that team was like leading by committee. Like there was, John Slading was our captain, John Slaney, and there was several other, say, arguably veteran leaders on the team. Boyd Kane, Ben Stafford, Mark Murphy. There's a bunch of them, but I don't remember I think of Clarkie. It's like this one guy, and then it's almost like it was like a collective group of leadership. At least on that team that I really felt that was just like guys just rallied together and got it done. But John Slaney, if there was one, he'd been in the NHL and first round pick. And
when I think of leadership, Bernie, Riley, either one of you guys chime in on this. I think Bobby Clark, I think Mark Messier, guys who if you bleep up, they're going to come get you in the locker room. I had a buddy of mine, Craig Simpson, who played with the Penguins and the Edmonton Oilers, was traded from the Penguins to the Oilers. It's a 50-goal scorer in the NHL, not Vinny Bombats. And he said if with Edmonton, he got traded to them. Obviously, Gretzky's Gretzky, but somebody told him if you go across the line in whatever way, don't worry about Wayne. You're going to have to deal with 11 in the locker room. That's Messier. That leadership is so important, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be hard to find somebody, not just like that, but with the leadership quality at all.
Well, number one, you have to have talent.
Yeah.
If you don't have talent, you could have the best leadership, but it's not going to happen.
It doesn't translate.
Leader of nothing, right?
It's like having Paul on the ice.
It is.
Yeah, right.
I say it all the time.
Good talker, but you can't get anything done on the
You
ice.
can have all the character you want, but if you have people that can't play. Yeah.
We don't believe in your game plan, Paul.
That's right. There's a reason for that. All right, one for you, Riley. I've never asked this question before. That's my fault because I think it's a good question, but you'll be the judge of that out there listening and watching. There are fighters who can play. There are players who can fight. Rick Taka was a fantastic player. Paul Holmgren, the Flyers have had tons of them. I'm not talking about players who can fight, and I don't know what the difference is, but in your opinion, the way Riley Cote thinks, who's the best NHL fighter as a hockey, if he wasn't allowed to fight anymore and just played, not the player who can fight, but the fighter who can play, who would you put on your team?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, maybe in his prime, Milan Lucic. I know he's slowed down a little bit back in
player,
Boston. Great, he's had some success.
Schultz scored 20 goals in the year, Bernie, right?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you're talking about in general across the board. Oh yeah, Schultz. I mean, Bob Probert scored 20 or 30, right? He was an all-star, I think, one year. There's a few of those guys back in the day. Schultz for sure.
So what's the difference in a player who can fight and a fighter who can play?
Well, I think I would be considered probably a guy that a fighter, a player that can fight versus a fighter that can play. I think the difference is like you'd be able to put a guy like Bob Probert or Schultz on a line with maybe Clarkey for a game or two, or whoever But like a guy like myself, I was hemmed on the fourth line, and I wasn't moving anywhere else.
And Bernie, that's because you guys, the Broad Street Bullies, were bullies. But you guys had a lot of guys who could fight that could really play, and that was a big key to your team, wasn't it?
Well, the reason we fought, I'm saying we.
Was to beat the hell out of people.
Yeah, no. The reason we fought is because we believe if somebody did something wrong to one of our players, that guy paid the price for it.
Yeah.
That was understood by the whole team.
Understood by the whole league, trust me.
Well, yeah, and it was very, very, very important. So, you gain respect from the team. I remember a lot of teams couldn't wait till the game was over.
Oh yeah.
To move away from Philly.
Yeah. I can see that, and I think the bigger thing is that it was like the whole team that was could answer the bell, right? It's not just like one or two guys. It'd be like, just like leave those guys sleep. It's like the whole team could.
As a matter of fact, somebody give you a cheap shot and you're on your knees on the ice and not feeling good. That guy paid the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
the
the
Russians
team.
paid the price.
Now, if it was a guy like Paul, they would just keep going.
Or Valery Kharlamov and the Russian. All right, we're almost out of time. I want to give Riley a chance to promo whatever he wants. If someone wants to get to you for any of the services you provide, where do they go, Riley?
You can just go to my .com, RileyCote.com, Instagram.
How did you think up the name of the website?
It's pretty smart.
There we are. He is pretty smart. He's not just a hockey player. He's a guy that goes into a lot of areas in life successfully. We thank you so much for being here. I love having you on as much or more than anybody else throughout the years. You're a terrific guy and a terrific guest, and wish you the greatest in life. Your kids and everything, the best. Riley Cote, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bern, let's do it again next week. We'll have Mark Howe at Roosevelt Boulevard. I know you're flying south for the winter.
Wait a second. Mark Howe?
Yeah.
I think I'm busy.
Going down to Florida early?
I'm leaving the same day. Yeah.
All right. And we have a lot of help. Chris Sommer does a great job producing this program.
He's a good friend. He's a good friend. I love him. So
Mark or Chris? Both,
Mark,
right?
Both, yeah. Sure.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Keith Noonan, you moved the knobs at the station. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for watching and listening. We have a great time at Chickies and Pete's every time, especially Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown. For Bernie Parent, for Mr. Riley Cote, I'm Paul Jolovitz for Independence Blue Cross on the Ice saying, join us next week with Mark Howe and Go Flyers.
You've been listening to On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Tonight's show is an exclusive presentation of 1490 WBCB and heard around the world at WBCB1490.com.